Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go to the information. In the xy plane, the line determined by the point c, 11 and negative 1, c intersects the y-axis at y equals to 5. Which of the following could be the value of c? Okay, now we have 2 points on a line, that is c, 11 and negative 1, c. And also we know at where the line intersects y-axis, that is at y equals to 5. Okay, let's find the equation of the line in slope intercept form. For that, the equation of the line in slope intercept form is y equals to mx plus b. And here already we know that m refers to slope and b refers to the y-coordinate at the y-intercept. Okay, now let's consider the xy plane. It's x-axis and y-axis, and I'm not sure whether the line is a rising line or falling line. Okay, now let me assume it's a falling line. So then it will look like this. And also the question says the line intersects y-axis at y equals to 5. Then the y-intercept will be 0, 5. So at the y-intercept, the y-coordinate is 5. So this is a value of b. So b refers to the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So now what we can do is we can plug in this y-coordinate of the y-intercept for this b over here. Then I'm getting y equals to mx positive 5. Okay, now so still we have to find the slope m. So for that we can use the given 2 points over here. So we know that if 2 points on a line are given, we can use a formula, that is m equals to y2 negative y1 over x2 negative x1 to find the slope of a line. So for that we have to consider the first point as x1 y1 and the second point as x2 y2. Okay, now let's plug in the values over here. So y2 is c, negative y1 is 11, and x2 is negative 1, negative x1 is c. Okay, now I got the slope m, so I can plug in this one for m over here. Then I'm getting y equals to c negative 11 over negative 1 negative c times x positive 5. Okay, for m I just plugged in the slope what I got over here. Okay, now what I need to do is my aim is to find the value of c. For that I have to plug in one of the points on the line into this equation so that I can get the value of c. Okay, so for that what we can do is we can use either the first point c, 11 or the second point negative 1, c. We can plug in into this equation and solve for c. So if I'm going to use the first point, I have to plug in this c for x over here and this 11 for y over here. Okay, let me use the first point. So let me plug in 11 for y and c negative 11 over negative 1 negative c times c positive 5. Okay, my aim is to solve for c. So for that I have to isolate c. So let me subtract 5 from both sides. So when I do so, this positive 5 negative 5 will cancel out. I'm getting 11 negative 5 will become 6 equals to c negative 11 over negative 1 negative c times c. Here this fraction is multiplied by c. Whenever a fraction is multiplied by some value, usually we multiply the numerator by that value. So now we have to multiply the c negative 11 by this c. For that let's take parenthesis over here. The c has to be distributed to this c and this negative 11. So when I do so, I'm getting 6 equals to c square negative 11c over negative 1 negative c. Okay, let me continue the work over here. Okay, now in this equation what I need to do is I have to get rid of the denominator over here. For that I have to multiply both sides by negative 1 negative c. Okay, let me do it. So let me multiply the left side of 6 by negative 1 negative c. On the right side also I multiply by negative 1 negative c. Let me do it. So c square negative 11c over negative 1 negative c. It has to be multiplied by negative 1 negative c. So this one will cancel out. When you distribute this 6 to negative 1 and negative c, I am getting negative 6 and negative 6c equals to, on the right side we have c square negative 11c. Okay, now it's a quadratic equation in the constant c. Okay, so we have to solve this quadratic equation. For that we have to get this quadratic equation in standard form, like ax square positive bx positive c equals to 0. Okay, so for that we have to get everything on the left side on one of the sides as we must have 0. Okay, so now let me add 6c to both sides and also I'm adding 6 to both sides. So when I do so, this negative 6 positive 6 will cancel out and negative 6c positive 6c will cancel out. So on the right side if I simplify, I'm getting c square, and when I combine this negative 11c positive 6c, I'm getting negative 5c positive 6, and here we have 0. That 0 can be taken over here on the right side. Now we have a quadratic equation in standard form. I think this quadratic equation can be solved by factoring. For that, we have to consider the coefficient of the square term. So here the square term is c square and the coefficient over here is 1. Actually, we don't find any number. So we have to assume there is 1 in front of c square. So now we have to multiply this constant term positive 6 by the coefficient of c square. So when I do so, 1 times positive 6 is positive 6. Now I have to get two factors for this positive 6. so that the product of the two factors over here equals to positive 6, and when I add the two factors, it must be equal to the coefficient of C. I think negative 2 and negative 3 will work. Okay, now so I got the two factors of positive 6. So further what I need to do is I have to divide both these factors by this value 1, negative 2 over 1, negative 3 over 1. So both the factors are to divided by the coefficient of C square. Even when I divide this negative 2 over 1, it's still negative 2, and when I divide this negative 3 over 1, it's still negative 3. Okay, now to get the two values of C, since it's a quadratic equation and its degree is 2, and we'll be getting two values for C. So those the two values, to get the two values of C, I just have to change the signs of the two factors over here. Okay, let's consider the first factor is negative 2. When I change the sign negative over here, it will become positive. So the first value of C is positive 2. If I change the sign of this factor, it will become 3. Okay, now I got the two values for C. One is 2 and the other one is 3. So among the given answer choices, I find this value 2 in option C. So the correct answer choice for this question is option C.